I'm actually a way better jungler than you. Way to keep it classy, Nidalee. Speaking of classy, this video was sponsored by Ridge Wallets.
Ridge Wallets have a light, sleek, and modern design that allows them to easily fit in your front pocket. They can hold up to 12 cards, plus they have room for cash. Order yours now using the discount code STIX. Link down in the description and pinned comment below.
Yo, what is going on, guys? We are continuing our climb to Challenger. Currently, we are 20 wins and 1 loss. We are going up against Nidalee, which is actually a heavily Evelynn favored matchup. However, Nidalee has a big opportunity to mess you up in your first 5 levels, so you need to make sure you get a ward down on your opposite side jungle. If she does start on your opposite side jungle to your bot lane, or if she doesn't invade you and you don't have a ward, that is basically how you lose the matchup on Evelynn. As long as you ward and played accordingly, then you should be fine. I'm still running Gathering Storm and Absolute Focus for the best scaling possible to carry this elo. I'm still playing against low diamonds and high plats. Meanwhile, we are in silver. I tend to start with my bot lane for the best leash possible. If you start on your red buff, your clears are healthier, but if you start on your blue buff, it speeds up your clear roughly 5 to 8 seconds. Pay close attention to this ward. As you cross over, you'll only have time to do 1 camp before the ward expires. In this case, I decided to go for the chickens. I could have gone for red buff instead to try to guarantee it. Look on the minimap. Nidalee does not show up on the map whatsoever for a gank. That means the odds of her coming and invading us are incredibly high, at least 80%, since she does win that early matchup. Plus, Set is missing, so the odds of him being over here as well are extremely high. The biggest mistake I make here is bothering to go to my red buff. If it was just Nidalee on it, I could easily destroy her, especially if she'd started it. I can use my sweeper to check the bush, but with Set missing, it's just way too risky. Here, I should have actually backed, rushed the bottom side scuttle, and potentially invaded Nidalee if she stayed on the map, but instead, I greed out. I step up and I end up getting myself trashed by the Set with a bad juke, flash away, and then misread my damage. Nidalee barely kills me and gets away. At least on the bright side, I can have an item advantage and meet Nidalee on the bottom scuttle if she runs straight for it. So I pick up a Dark Soul and boots. The Dark Soul will amplify my refill potions, and the boots is a really good cheap item buy in this situation. Nidalee lingered and showed herself top lane and then mid lane, so I knew I had time to take the scuttle crab before she could get here. And even if she does, as long as her laners don't rotate, I could easily beat her in a 1v1. So after Scuttle Crab, since she does have mid prio, I decide, we'll just farm it up. We see her, she walks over the Scuttle Crab. I thought that was funny that she would walk through that because she knows I'll have an item advantage since she hasn't backed yet and I have backed. I pull the Grump into the bush to give myself cover. If she walks into this bush, I'll see her. Plus I'm pulling the Grump away from her if she does come from the top side. From here, all I need to do is really farm. She's going to have to back, and if she doesn't, I'll still have my item advantage. Once I get level 6, I can dominate the map. I nearly go mid lane to soak the wave. Then I realize it's basically frozen, so I might as well not go over there. I'll just leave it for the Annie and not give up my position on the map. As I go in for my golems, of course, this aggressive Nidalee player shows up. I know I can fight her since I have an item advantage. There's just no way, especially with the Evelynn Q cooldown buff. Plus, I'm weaving my Qs into the golems, giving myself massive Hunter Talisman healing. Of course, Set comes to back her up again. He's soloed my Malphite twice now and is giving them a lot of top prio. Notice how at no point do I ever ping the Malphite or flame him whatsoever, because that's not going to help anybody. I am simply pointing this out since at the end of the game, Nidalee has a bitch fit about her team. Even with getting 2-man on my red buff and making that misplay, I still managed to hit my level 6 power spike before the 7-minute mark, which is really, really good. Just had to stay disciplined, power farm, and now I can really start to help my team. Before I went bot lane, I wanted to take my wolves while I was still here. Nidalee showed herself bot, and she doesn't have her red buff yet, so I know her red buff is still up. I'm going to go over there and kill her on it. I saw her momentarily on the map with no red buff, and she should be level 5. Shockingly enough, probably Nidalee pinged out the dragon to take it. Super risky since she's not level 6 yet. And we did see them come over here since they all showed bot lane first. I toggle on my target champion only, use my W on Jhin, that way I don't accidentally press my W on dragon. Hit him with my R because I was trying to kill the Nidalee. We land the charm anyways and pick up a couple of kills plus dragon. And on top of that, we know Nidalee's red buff is still up. None of us got red buff from killing her. We already know she didn't have red buff, even though she started on her red, I started on my blue, meaning her red buff second spawn will be at the same time as my blue buff. So I'm going to run over here, Q, E it, and then W it, pull it towards the edge of the bush. So if she does show up right as I'm finishing it, she won't realize it, or she just won't be able to get to it in time. Plus, I do have the blast cone as an escape route, so this is fairly safe. Nidalee never showed up, plus 𝐒𝐿𝐻𝐂 is really far shoved up, so I decided to go mid first. I W, Q, and she flashes it. I decide not to flash for it since I don't have R, and Annie doesn't have a R. The only way I would have gone for it is if she didn't flash or if we had our Rs. Either way, it would have been a kill, but I'll take her flash as a victory on itself. Plus, I got to cross into my opposite side jungle, so I'm not really missing out on CS or time. Now, I did expose myself on the map, so Nidalee knows I'm over here. Just in case she's going to try a hyper aggro invade, since I haven't had a chance to back yet. I pull my red buff all the way down towards the bush, so even if she does throw a spear at me, it won't hit me, it'll just hit the red buff. And I'm just trying to put myself in a safe spot, keep dragging the red buff away as it gets lower and lower. I pull it past its patience range, knowing how long I could keep it over here for. And sure enough, Nidalee hits the plant, and we're already out by the time she does it. I make sure to ping that area to let my top and mid know Nidalee's probably over there, and I head straight bot lane since I have my first item power spike and ultimate. Should be a free gank. I gotta be patient though, let them step up. Soraka has an awesome pink ward bait. I land my W on Jhin, flash the wall because I really want the kill and I have my R. So it was a bit of a forced play. Plus I accidentally blue smited the Yuumi instead of Jhin, but all in all, it was still a good play only because I knew Nidalee wasn't going to be over here. If I had no clue where Nidalee was before I made this play, I probably wouldn't have gone for it. It wouldn't be worth risking it. I go in for the pinch, W on the Yuumi, Q her, and then I actually hold on to my E to try to use it as a distance closer since she's starting to get away from me. Since your E's on a long enough cooldown in these short fights and you know they're about to get away, it's actually better to hold on to it normally. I W the Jhin a little bit too early. I should have let him walk up farther so I could get help from my teammates and so he wouldn't be so close to his turret. So that one was a failed fly trap, but we did get the Yuumi. Nidalee is still showing herself top lane. She actually laid her Herald way too early. If you guys were paying attention to the minimap, she did take Herald after I backed. Laid at top lane, even though Malphite's turret had 4 or 5 turret plates, they had no chance of getting it because the Herald only scrapes about 2 plates and a third with its true damage. But for each plate that you break, it gives the turret temporarily a lot more armor and magic resist. So whenever they broke that and they were both there for each nearby champion, it also increases the turret's armor and magic resist. When you're breaking the plates, they basically had 0 chance of breaking it, especially since Malphite was beneath it, able to defend it. So all I'm trying to say is they should have taken 2 or 3 plates first and then laid the Herald. So basically they wasted all their time top lane while instead I got value bot lane. These fly traps aren't being very successful, but at the very least we're shoving them off turret, pushing them away from our minion golden XP, and we're getting the turret as well. So it's really not that big of a deal, mainly since Nidalee has been showing herself top lane so much, it's been allowing me to do this. Nidalee pulls off a sneaky maneuver bot lane, catching my teammates out of position. My R's still on cooldown and my W's on cooldown, so I'm not a rush to get over there. But I am going to go save the Soraka. So we head over. Of course, the enemies are going to overchase since they are behind. So I'm just sticking around waiting. They end up letting Soraka go, but I do want to get into the bushes. I need to mine the Nidalee sweeper so they don't see me. So I wait towards the back of the bush. As she steps in, I step forward, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and she's dead. We pull off, and then we can act like we're leaving, but just really go back in since we have R. If we didn't have R, I wouldn't be going back in. But with the R, I should be able to kill them, even though Yuumi is overtuned. It looked like he actually backed, but he just stepped into the bush last second. He was like only 1 pixel away from the bush, so that actually kind of tricked me. So I acted like I left again, but I want to get a little bit closer, so I wait right by them, letting them start their recall and feel comfortable. A lot of players will pull up the shop and you can usually get something super cheeky, but it's obvious that they don't want to back because they keep canceling their recalls. They probably don't think I'm here, so instead I go in for a flank. Unfortunately, I think Annie gives it away, but she does a great job of just eating the spear straight up. So I stand on top of her. We smack the Nidalee right when she jumps in. And now it's time to clean up the 1BF sword Jhin. Unfortunately, Yuumi is super slippery and she kind of gets to dash away when she disconnects from people. Even by ulting backwards, I couldn't quite finish her off. At the very least, we do get turret, we set up dragon, and the 𝐒𝐿𝐻𝐂 roam was super pointless. She just got herself charmed and she would have nearly died if I had spent all my gold. At this point of the game, being 10 kills to 4 may not seem like a lot, but when you're playing pretty much diamond and up, as long as you don't allow yourself to die, it's essentially GG. I can imagine the enemy team's morale is pretty low based on the things Nidalee says later in the game. But from here on out, all we need to do is stay alive. I don't try to force any plays. I'm just playing around my ultimate's cooldown, so I was in no rush to back or force a play until my ultimate's back up. Once my ultimate was about 30 seconds away, I backed, got my items, and now I'm looking for a play. I get the Jin's flash, and now I'm going to flank deeper and deeper into their jungle. This is a big issue if you lose map pressure against an Evelynn, and if you don't have pink wards, she can essentially be anywhere. The only counter to Evelynn is pink wards. If your team is so far behind that all of you are refusing to buy any, it turns Evelynn from being roughly a tier to B tier champion to being a S+ tier champion. The only thing that keeps her in line are in fact pink wards. So basically what ends up happening as you walk forward to collect any scraps on the map that you can manage, whether it be a golem camp or one minion wave, Evelynn can be there. That is the problem with falling behind and refusing to buy pink wards. If you can actually force Evelynn to stop and for 4 seconds melee a pink ward, not only is she vulnerable to dying, because if she gets by 1 CC, she's going to die instantly, but that's 4 seconds of knowing where she is, plus a few seconds after the ward breaks, you still get vision. Don't think of it as a defeat when Evelynn breaks her pink ward. Think of it as a massive victory, because now you know exactly where she is on the map. If you do manage to set your team up in this way, try to play purely off of flanks and never stand on your teammates. By playing off of flanks, the enemies can't defend any turret past their inhibitor turret, since you have so much space to run them down and pinch them from. Their safest turret on the map is pretty much their 2 Nexus turrets, and then the next safest one is the one by their inhibitor, because you can't really get behind them unless you're willing to flash one of the side walls, which just isn't realistic. While I'm waiting for objectives or for enemies to overstep for scraps, I'm going to go ahead and take all their jungle camps. This will stop Nidalee from being able to come back into the game, and it will also put constant pressure and anxiety on the enemies to potentially surrender, hopefully. All the enemies are missing on the map, but I've been keeping a pretty close eye on where they approximately are, and I figured there couldn't be any more than 2 people in the bush at max, which isn't enough to kill me. Especially since my ultimate is up. Nidalee tunneled super hard on the Annie, didn't even realize I stepped on her trap. I walk up, W, blue smite, Q, E, R, and she's dead. I try to R to where I don't really move away from them, but I can just walk parallel with them and kill them along the way. Since I didn't know where the rest of their team was, I didn't want to ult towards their turret because I didn't know if I was going to get bamboozled. It was at this point of the game, the enemies kind of just gave up, and then Nidalee just started complaining in all chat. I can understand being frustrated, but in general, I just try not to participate in that type of thing whenever I'm trying to hard climb. And I didn't feel like it was fair for Nidalee's team to kind of get chewed out, so all I said was, to be fair, sets you up really hard early game with that invade level 3, which he did. If he wasn't there, I would have smashed her 1v1 since she was already on my red buff, and she didn't take too kindly to that. In fact, she didn't actually count that as Set helping her or setting her up, since it was her idea with the teleport. Set basically didn't even help her. Set's teleport didn't count, him being there didn't count, and in fact, she's actually a way better jungler. Dude, League of Legends is pretty funny. The main reason I leave chat on is because it makes for really good thumbnails. Ideally, if you are tryharding in ranked, you should try to turn off all chat because it's used as a source just for people to complain or for people to try to tilt you. I decided to do the right thing and put the better jungler out of their misery. That way she can move on to her next game. That leaves us at our current score of 22 wins and 1 loss, currently in Silver 1, playing against Diamonds. If you guys want to see cool daily League of Legends uploads, check out the second channel. I'll have a link down in the pinned comment and description below. Also, feel free to come chat and chill on stream. Links down in the description and pinned comment below. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.